Good afternoon. Most of you have been asking some of my trade secrets as to how I film different things for Mass and evening prayer and such things that I use to bring the sound into the mobile device, which brings it live to you. Well, there are many different things in which I utilize, and I'll kind of walk around and show you what it is that I use, just so you know that there's no fancy tricks that I'm doing here. Both hands are free and the camera is following me, by the way. That's the original. That's how far I can go. What you're seeing is the DJI Osmo gimbal, and it allows for me to move freely when I'm by myself if there's no one here to control the camera with me. And I'll just adjust it here so that we can get more range of motion here. But one of the things that I use first is a tripod with a stand that holds the iPad. So all this is just a regular 3-leg tripod, and this is a Joby iPad holder for the tripod. And so usually what I do is I take the tripod and I set it where it needs to go, and then I take my trusty iPad, 2018 model iPad Pro or 2019, I can't remember, whichever one came first. And I just simply take it each morning and I place it right here inside the holder, and I make sure it's tight because I don't want to break that thing. And that's pretty much it. So that sets the camera up for Mass each day. And then another thing that I utilize to bring the sound in, when it's just me, I have a little transmitter from Samson that I put on the iPad itself. I hook it into the iPad. Sorry for the moving around. Best way I can do it by myself. And let me get in front of it. There we go. And I just simply hook it into the side, and I have to make sure that I turn it on. As you can see, it lit up. And once it's turned on, it'll bring power from the iPad into the transmitter or the receiver itself. Another thing I'll do is sometimes you'll see me wearing a lavalier or microphone itself, and this is what transmits the sound into the iPad. So when I have to make sure this is turned on, and when the light is green, I know I'm good to talk. But this is usually retails for about $199 at Best Buy. It's the Samson Go Mic Mobile. Samson Go Mic Mobile. And they have many different plugins for many different devices. So this is the one I use for my iPhone. I'm using a iPhone 11 Pro Max or Pro something. It's the latest iPhone they have with the 3 cameras on the back. So if I use my iPhone, I can plug it in with this, and I also have another cable for the iPad. But this is how I get sound into the device itself. Now, if there's multiple people here, we'll just use the sound from the church itself, the original sound system. And what I do is I set the iPad over near one of the speakers so that it picks up the sound from the speaker or the audio from the speaker into the iPad, because there's multiple people speaking. And because these are expensive, I'm not going to buy more of these for maybe a 1-time or 2-time usage. But that's how that happens. Another thing I use is a jetpack or a MiFi jetpack, which brings the internet into the church. We don't have any internet in the church building itself, but these can get kind of costly. So you got to be careful with these. And I use Verizon. I've been with Verizon for a very long time, and they've never let me down. Every once in a while, this will drop the signal, but it is what it is. It's technology, and you use it to the best of your ability when you can. Another thing I use, if it's just me inside the church, I'll use this Joby stand itself, where it's about $39.99, and I'll set it up on a device I'll show you here. You're going to laugh at me when I show you this, because sometimes my iPad might be dead, or I'm in a hurry and I need to use the cell phone, and I need to upload the video from wherever I'm going to be. Yeah, I stay busy. I don't just sit down and do nothing all day. I'm busier now than I was before. I don't know how that happened, but it is. And the neat thing about this is it's got what they call the Gorilla Grip, so I can bend and twist it any which way I want to conform it to the standard I need it to at that moment. So sometimes the iPad is dead, or I have it in a different location, or I have it charging for whatever reason, I'll use that little device there, or I use the gimbal here itself, and I'll show you what else I use. If I can get it to work right. Things never work right when you need them to. Let's see. You got all this technology and can't use it. Nope, that's not it. Well, here's what else I use. Yes, dear friends, there's a bucket in church. It's a Yeti bucket. And this is what I sit the gimbal up on so that I can talk to you. Hey, sometimes you got to use what you got when you're on a budget. But those are basically my things that I use to videotape, nothing fancy. We're on a strict budget here, and I try to stay within our means. A lot of this equipment I had already, so it was easy for me. Just come out and figure out how to hook it all up and make it work. That way I can get the word to you. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Take care. God bless.